Welcome to CNN 10, where upheaval in Venezuela is the first story we're explaining this Wednesday. I'm Carl Azus at the CNN Center. On April 30th, conflicting reports were coming out about what was happening in the South American country. During a protest in the Venezuelan capital of Caracas, Juan Guaido, the opposition leader who in January declared himself the new president of Venezuela, said, quote, "Operation Freedom has begun. We're going to stand here together asking and demanding the military to join." CNN reporters called this an escalation of Guaido's efforts to remove Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro from power. What we don't know is whether this amounts to an attempted military coup when the armed forces take action to change a nation's government. Guaido's ambassador in Washington says it's not a military coup. He called it a constitutional process led by the Venezuelan people, and said there'd be more events in the hours and days to come. A Venezuelan government official also said it wasn't a military coup, but he told the Reuters news agency that it was another chapter in an attempted civilian coup led by Venezuela's opposition party and supported by the U.S. So the question here is, have members of Venezuela's military, which have largely supported President Maduro, now joined forces with the opposition protesters who want Maduro out of power? At the time we produced this show, we didn't have a clear answer on that. We'll keep you updated on what happens in the troubled South American nation. Next story. Earlier this month, the island nation of the Philippines protested to China because hundreds of Chinese boats were sailing near an island administered by the Philippines. But this particular place is also in the Spratlys chain, a disputed area that includes man-made islands that China has built up in recent years. Despite the dispute, the president of the Philippines has strengthened his country's relationship with China, and that country's investments in the Philippines have caused concerns for some people there and abroad.
It was U.S. military power in the heart of the Philippines. For decades, Clark Air Base was the largest American base outside the U.S. Veterans Anthony Grimm and John Gilbert remember it well.
It was a little America. It really was.
The town is still called Clark, still has a VFW post, but the base is a memory. The Americans left in 1991.
Well, after Vietnam, we no longer needed those bases. They were not a critical asset.
So the old base sat idle for years, but not anymore.
So this is going to be a major hub, not just in the country, but in the entire region.
It'll cover more area than Manhattan. Skyscrapers, a new airport, residential, billions of dollars of investment. And who's helping build it?
You are seeing more of a Chinese influence here.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of projects.
Chinese money has poured into the Philippines recently, joining other firms already here. This company, owned by China's government, is building a road a half-mile away. The steel going up isn't from Pittsburgh.
The fact that I'm surrounded by Chinese steel and that China is one of the biggest country investors in this new city is remarkable, given the state of relations between the Philippines and China just a few years ago.
Sino-Filipino relations hit rock bottom in mid-2016 after Manila took Beijing to international court over artificial islands China has built and militarized not far from the Filipino coast. About that time, though, came a new president, Rodrigo Duterte.
I announced my separation from the United States.
Duterte said that in Beijing and soon cozied up to China. China has since pledged tens of billions of dollars to projects in the Philippines, whose supporters call healthy, necessary loans.
The sheer scale that China brings is something that not a lot of countries can bring to any economy.
But some see that spending as dangerous. Should anything go wrong with repayments, Manila could be beholden to Beijing.
It's the ultimate symbol of the eventual subjugation of the Philippines towards China.
China has doled out hundreds of billions in similar loans to developing countries across Asia and Africa, and the U.S. has warned of debt-trap diplomacy. Beijing recently took a 99-year lease on a key port in Sri Lanka after the government there defaulted on Chinese loans used to build it. The Duterte administration argues the Philippines is different and faces no such threat. Plus, the U.S. still has a defense treaty with Manila. But in this zero-sum game for influence, when America gives room, China will try to fill that void. Matt Rivers, CNN, Clark, the Philippines.
10-second trivia. Which of these African nations borders both Lake Victoria and the Indian Ocean? Somalia, Uganda, Ethiopia, or Kenya? The only one of these countries that borders both of these bodies of water is Kenya. According to the CIA World Factbook, the backbone of Kenya's economy is agriculture. It accounts for about a third of the nation's gross domestic product. But tourism also factors in, and when a married couple from the U.S. state of Nevada recently traveled to Kenya, they wanted something a little bit off the beaten path of safaris and big game hunting.
I'm Tracy Cheatham.
And I'm Mark McIntyre.
We are from Las Vegas, and we came to Kenya to celebrate my 50th birthday. This guy said I could go anywhere in the world, and I picked Kenya.
Holy moly.
We're within the Ollantilla Conservancy, which is about 40,000 acres of community land and 3 times the size of Manhattan.
Thank you.
Thank you. You see the
I like the look of this.
vacation?
Most of our guests are thoughtful, intelligent people. And thoughtful, intelligent people just love to solve problems. So we show them problems, and their response to that is, how can I help? We've built schools, we employ teachers, we built a hospital.
Nice to meet you. I wanted to make a donation to the kids for school supplies. I didn't want to come to Kenya for safari. I wanted to come to Kenya for the people. I wanted to learn about the culture because that's not what people do. And I loved going the opposite direction.
The problem with these students, they come from far.
How far are they traveling to get there?
Some they go as far as 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers.
So that's what you all are working for now? You want some place where, so they don't have to walk so far to go to school?
Yes.
I remember when I went to Tanzania, I was constantly asked, where was I from? And I would say, I'm sorry, what? What part of Africa are you from? And that's how this all got started, because I couldn't answer that question. And so I did one of those DNA tests, so I could figure out which countries that I was from, because apparently I had to be from somewhere. When we got the results, I was from everywhere. So it's important for me to come back, because now when I get asked the question, where are you from, I can say I'm from here, 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 and here, with great pride.
There are only 2 different families in the village, and normally they can live as one family in one village or friends together.
We try to encourage our guests to have fun while doing good. At the same time, they end up enjoying the place and wanting to be part of the project and be part of the community that they have come to visit.
Well, this is unlikely. At Ohio's Walnut Hills High School, 17 students recently got a perfect score on the ACT, a college admissions test. And the school says 23 more seniors were only 1 point away from a perfect score. So what? Well, according to the administrators of the test, out of the roughly 2 million students who take it every year, only 0.1% of them get a perfect score. So to have 17 perfect scores at one high school is nothing short of ACT-rific. They became #1 with a #2 pencil. They set a new standardized. The teachers had a multiple choice of students to congratulate. Just don't tell a competing exam they had a scholastic aptitude for it. That might test some nerves. I'm picking C and A for Carl Azuz on CNN.